Hi, my name is Lisa Galloway. This is Beauty from Inside and Out, and I'm going to be sharing a little today about sagging skin, like mixed methods of what we can do to kind of tweak those things. Not necessarily by taking a visit like to a spa or to see a doctor, but things that we can do at home that may kind of help those few beginning stages of things kind of to shift a little. So if that sounds like of interest to you, keep watching.
If you're here, then you woke up today. And that is a blessing. Don't take that for granted. Don't waste it.
The first few things I'm going to share are going to be kind of the tools that we can do. Some maybe a little on the pricier side. Some you can spend maybe about, I don't know, 30, 40, maybe $50. Just depending on how you want to go ahead and take this journey. And then of course, some things that you may have not even thought about that you can do. Want to know what that is? Okay, let's get into this right now. Let me show you the first one. This is called the New Face. Okay, so a tool that I really like to use, that I feel that it helps temporarily to get like that lifted look to your cheeks, to your brows, your jawline. There are other tools that you can add to this. This particular one is just this one. They have another one that you can again switch like the tool part up front on top. And there's another one, I'll insert a picture here, where it has like a longer piece where you can actually like work your jawline. It's been out for quite a few years, but I believe that it really does help. Again, if you're consistent with it. Now, mind you, this is a little bit on the pricier side. So if you're not going to be consistent to using it regularly, then I wouldn't suggest to get it because it is a higher price tag with it. But how this works is that it stimulates like the muscle with these like electrical kind of zings that it gives to your face. It stings tiny. It's just kind of like these little kind of like these zaps, like a rubber band kind of snaps, you know, back at you when you release. That's kind of how you feel. And it's not all the time. There's just certain times when you feel it. It comes also, or I don't know if it comes, I don't know if you can purchase it and then this comes with it. But basically it's called Aqua Gel. It's a hyaluronic. You can probably just use maybe like another hyaluronic serum to go with it. And I think I've purchased this one a couple times. You just squeeze it out of the bottle and you apply this to where you're going to use the New Face. So I just take it in sections, and I don't necessarily even go up here very much, but I focus mine more on like the cheek and the jaw line. And I'm gonna see if you're gonna see a difference here on this side of my face versus this side when I am done. And you'll be able to see how this works. And basically, you turn this on and you can see how it's all lit up, and you'll hear a beep, which will give you that indication that you're done in that particular row. So you gently just kind of like lightly with some pressure go all the way back to the hairline. Same thing here on like the higher cheekbone area. So you kind of see how this works. Jawline. And I just do this about maybe like 3 times. Starting in the center of the face and working my way back to the hairline. And this will be like the last one. And same thing. And you can also work this even down below on your neck. If you feel like you have a little bit of your neck kind of like drooping. Again, it's not like a magic pill where you're just doing it one time. You really, I think when you first purchase it, It tells you that you really should do this for about 60 days every day by following the instructions of repetition, and you're going to see a difference that day. So you'll see how it will lift a little bit of just a shift, a very small shift into like, and again, what it's doing is just working that muscle to give you the that slight lift to your cheeks, to your jawline. It's not a dramatic look per se. The other thing that I also would suggest would be something like a gua sha. So the purpose of using a gua sha is, number one, to just get like the circulation going in, like the bloodstreams and circulations going on to your face, and it gives you not only that kind of plush plumpy look to your skin, but it helps work like the muscles also, because you're hitting the gua sha in certain areas. And let me pull my gua. This is a pretty good size one. There are some that are smaller. I find that this one really helps because of its size. I like that there's a grip here in the middle, because when you're using these gua shas, you should have some slippage to your face so that you're not tugging on your skin. So like I would prefer to do this maybe like at night more than the morning. But if you're trying to get a little bit of that circulation going on your skin and you want to lift it, then you want to do it in the morning, right before you get your makeup on. But keep in mind that you're going to use some kind of oil is my suggestion, so that you're getting a little bit of a slippage as you are going up and up your face to do your gua sha. Now then you can go ahead and just rinse your face, wash your face, and go into your normal like skincare routine before you get going for the day, if that's the purpose of why you're using your gua sha. But this is so good. Not only this just helps stimulate that blood circulation, but it is such a great also just even massage to just kind of like get that movement on our face, kind of like what we normally are supposed to do to our bodies, right? But we're doing it to our face, and just kind of getting all of that stimulation going, whether you're doing it on top of your forehead or again just on your cheekbone. Then you can do some even on your, change the gua sha around, and then just kind of like to get a little bit of like that nasal fold, right? Not have it so pronounced. Great tool to have, in my opinion. I think that one thing that we can kind of just really take for granted, and we may not even think right off the bat, is also hydration. By just adding hydration to your face, it's amazing how that will immediately give you not only the shine, but the plumpness to your skin. It just kind of revives your skin. And it can go from something looking very flat and dull to your face looking just more alive. So hydrating your skin and using serums for that, right, can immediately make the difference. And you can go, wow, like my face looks just more plumped. So a good hydrator. Now, I've mentioned before, but I say again, it's worth mentioning. This hyaluron mask is so good that you can do even right before and part of like, you don't have to do this every day necessarily, but if you do it maybe like 3 times a week, let's say, before you get into like it being the first step after you splash some water on your face in the morning, put on this mask for about maybe just 10 minutes if you have the time, and then rinse it off, and just see how your skin is going to look instantaneously. And these are the things that I think that can really just give you, just for that day, for that moment, a little bit of like just that much more lifted look that you are looking for. So a good mask that you can do. The other thing, I'm gonna post the picture here. I think this is so neat as well. They're like these lift tapes that you can use. Now, I think that it helps if you don't have either short hair, or maybe if you're using your hair like along your face, you can easily hide these tapes, whether you're using them to lift up your cheeks, your brow, down below in your jawline. So I placed a picture here that you can see how they look like. They're reusable. I think it's very inexpensive. Nobody would know the difference. And you basically just put like your makeup on over it, and it helps just give a little bit of that lift to your skin. I know, genius, right? So again, you don't have to use this on a regular day, but if it's like a specific night out that you are gonna go to an event or something, I think that this would be a great way to give that lifted look. Okay, let's get into now like makeup tips. There's just certain areas on our faces that are just going to start to shift quicker than others, right? Typically then after a certain age, you will see the indentations of your lines deeper. You'll see a lot more saggier skin, that if you are not getting treatments by the doctor, you're gonna see. But I'm talking about like when you're entering your 40s, your 50s, you're starting to see like a lot of the neck, the not necessarily even like wrinkles. It's just a little bit of like that sagging. So, and also like in just parts of our faces, right? You see where you can pinpoint exactly what it is that you want to give it the illusion that it's lifted. So let me go ahead and start. I mentioned already that was one tip, was the using like a moisturizer or a serum that has a lot of that hydration in it to have your skin plumped immediately. But let's go with like a contour. Contouring, I know, can be a little scary if you feel like, Lisa, I don't know, I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid that it's gonna look like it's contour. And I get that. But if you are knowing exactly where you're placing your contour, because that's what you want. I know you've probably heard of like, if you want a fuller type of cheek, there's a way to contour to give you that effect. The same thing goes with lifting up your cheekbone. So I like to go ahead and place, because that's what I want. I want to place my contour right there on that hairline, but I don't go any farther than the outer part of my eye. And this will immediately give my, see, like that's too low, but it will give my cheeks a much lifted look. And let me show you how to blend this. So the first step is definitely placement. So when you're going to start blending, it's always a good theory to flick upward, and that keeps everything also just in that motion of it going upward. I think also a brush, the choice of brush that you're using is going to help. The brushes that have, especially if you're having a really difficult time keeping that contour where you want it, I think the way that the brush is formed is going to help you also to keep like the contour in place. So this brush is very narrow, and it just helps to kind of, unless you're using like another brush that has like a more of a fluff to it, you can also pinch it and just get it into that form if you don't have this brush. But this brush is it's just so easy for contouring. It is actually called the detailed brush, but I just really think that this helps give that whole illusion of your cheeks being a bit higher, right, than what they are. Okay, ladies, I know this is a huge one, and it is the dreaded hooded eye. It is just a part of what's gonna happen is we get like the top of that brow bone skin just start to lean into our lid, and how that may just be a good tale of just how that part of our face is just sagging, and it's just giving like our age away, right? But this is like an easy, I think, tweak, and I'm sure that you've heard of this technique, right? It's just taking that first shade that you're using to start your eye, is taking it and placing it right in the center of where the crease is at. I drop quite a bit of the color in there, and I start to kind of windshield wipe back and forth. But my target is to definitely get it like above that crease line. Once you create that shadow to get above the crease line, you will instantaneously give your eye a bigger pop, a more lifted eye. It is incredible how by using this very easy technique will give your eye such a lift. And I'm gonna show you by just doing this one side and not the other, what a difference this makes. You can already see that it opens the eye. Not to mention that whatever first base of shade you're using, when you're using it on your lid, if you're not bringing it up above that crease, when your eyes are open, you won't be able to see that color. And so what it's doing is kind of elongating the eye by bringing that same color upward. So small little tweak that you can do, that it helps to create a lift. And again, this is in the crease and then just above. I realize that I tend to want to stay in the crease. One way that you can do this is by kind of like tilting your head back a little bit and angling the brush upward. So like if your brush is hitting, all of the bristles on the brush is hitting the inside the crease and up, it'll help you stay above that crease line. Does that make sense? I know sometimes it's like, huh? But it really does make a difference. The little things that you're doing. Angle the brush and also tilt the head back. Okay, here is another makeup one. Liner. So I've always said that using a liner, like a dark liner under your eye, is something you want to just kind of keep at bay. It definitely will close your eye, but maybe a better technique is to take your liner and bring it slightly like upward. It's incredible how doing something as simple as taking the end of like your liner and just bringing it up. When you're looking down, you'll see that the liner is just giving it the upward motion. Does that make sense? But when your eyes are open, you'll be also able to see how it lifts the eye slightly. It gives it more of a elongated look to your eyes. So taking the liner and just bringing that out, and I know sometimes it can be a little, I keep blocking, a little intimidating, because you're like, Lisa, I can't get like that straight line. And again, it's about like holding down the pencil in a certain way. If you have it angled, it allows you to keep like the line upward. And I can actually go even probably a little more angular. Let's try this one again. If I go and angle it this way, more upward, it will give the eye a much more lift to the eye, just to the corner of the eye, making it more catty. So that's another tip. The last tip, ladies, is blush placement. Oh my gosh, like this is very, very simple. And I'm gonna show you the difference in like maybe showing one side when you place it where we used to always place it, which was kind of like right at the center of the apple of our cheeks, and one where now we need to kind of just switch it up. So if I took my blush and I placed it right kind of like at the apple of my cheek, right? And just blend that in. And again, this is how we were putting on our blushes for the longest time. And although that looks pretty and you can see a pretty color on it, it actually just bubbles your cheeks a little. It gives it a plumper look, but it doesn't elongate and bring everything shifting upward. So my suggestion is taking that same blush, but placing it on the actual cheekbone and blending again up. Everything is about going upward into the temple, even of your face, and keeping that color, because our eyes will shift when we see anyone. Our eyes will immediately shift to the color of where that's being dropped. So keep it at the bone of the cheek and blend up into the temple instead of having it on the apple of our. A few tips on makeup tips, some tools that you can try, serums that you can use to plump up your skin, to get the circulation going in your skin, to give more revived, lifted look to your face. And hopefully this will help you. If you're trying something on your own, tell me what you're doing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.